Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you're limited on time, space, and equipment, but you really want to work on those abdominals, I've got something for you. You've got exactly 8 minutes, 20 seconds, you can get started. So prepare your mat, you don't really need anything else. If you care about your back health, about your posture, about your good biomechanics, you may want to train those abdominals a little bit more. I've been using the routine that I'm about to show you for years. Those drills in sequence work together wonderfully to hit all three layers of your abdominal wall, your external obliques, your six packs, your rectus abdominis, and also transverse abdominis, as well as all the muscles around that torso in the lower back and in the hips. So this routine and variations of it allowed me to keep my core strong. It supported my back, but also helped me reveal the six pack and obliques. Although remember that abs are made in the kitchen.
All right, guys, are you ready? We're starting in a seated position, going through the rollbacks. So again, if necessary, slide a little towel below your lumbar spine, below the lower back, and you may find this a little bit easier to perform. Into a little twist of the thoracic spine. And then moving on to the toe taps. So you're staying on your back, trying to maintain imprint. So back of the rib cage pressing into the ground. We want the taps to be slow. I'm keeping my knee locked in 90 degrees, and work on the movement starts at the hip joint. So you're trying to lightly tap the floor and hold, because that's really where the work is the most intense. From here, go straight into rotation. So we're trying to hit the external and internal obliques with this one. Notice how my lower back and my pelvis are lifting off the ground. I'm rolling from the right hip onto the left hip, or from the right glute to the left glute, but my shoulder blades stay on the ground. So it's not really about a stretch, it's about control. So nothing is changing through my hips or legs. And then pause the legs and move on to the curl up with a rotation. So we sending left shoulder to the right knee, and then right shoulder to the left knee or to the left thigh. Lower back stays imprinted, so we're really looking at the rotation of the thoracic spine. And then into single leg stretch. So arms down by your side or below your butt cheeks, kind of sit bone area, if you need extra support for your lower back. So we're flexing through one hip, extending through the other. Now, nice progression straight into the bicycles. So you can go either forwards or backwards. And here, focus on, again, straightening of the knee. So you're sending straight leg to ceiling and driving that straight leg down towards the ground. I'm still thinking of pressing the back of my rib cage downwards towards the floor. Now, straight into crisscross. So legs move in the same way, but we're adding that thoracic twist we've done before. So now making this drill a little bit more intense, a little bit more advanced. And notice how, again, the sacrum and the lumbar spine stay on the floor. There needs to be some grounded area of the body. Into the scissors. So I'm keeping my head down for now. I'm trying to simply do a little pull to increase the stretch through my hamstrings. And then at the curl up, if you want more, a little bit spicier for the six back muscle on this one. And you can support your head this way and keep working through your hip flexors. So at this point, again, you may feel a little bit of fatigue through the tummy. And if you want a progression, add the crisscross again. So you've got a final progression with rotation and hip flexion. Now into the reverse curl up. So I'm clasping my hands kind of above my forehead or a little bit further behind my head, and I'm trying to float pelvis and lower back off the ground. So here we're flexing the spine, and as I'm tapping the ground with my feet, I'm trying to really lock my spine, stiffen and brace through the midsection. So first is the hip movement, the hip flexion into the spinal or lumbar flexion. So focus on control. When I'm tapping the ground, I'm creating a short pause. Now progress if you can into a full rollover. I'm separating my feet to create that big circle. And I find this very helpful when I clasp my hands above my head. If you need to use your hands, just place your arms down by your side and use your hands to help the pelvis move up. So now I reverse that, the rollover, and then moving on to simple hip circumduction or hip circles. I'm showing you the full variation with a curl up. So you want your shoulder blades to be slightly off the ground, and I'm using locked knee, so straight legs. So that's a little bit more challenging for my quadriceps and for my hip flexors overall. Now this is a variation, so if you get tired or you feel maybe a little bit of clicking in the hips, you can limit range of motion and just bend the knees. You can even relax your head, relax your shoulders, so you can still work through your stomach, but then it's not as hard for the hips or back. You're still targeting the hip joints. And then we're moving on to the teaser. So modified teaser, I'm keeping my knees bent. Notice how I'm trying to keep my legs roughly at the same level. And I'm going through again the rolling up and down through my back. So think of this as a variation of a V-sit. There is a bit of, again, help from the arms. And then into the side teaser. So now I'm rolling 45 degrees onto one side or towards one side and then to the other. So you end up on the butt cheek in this indentation of the butt cheek and you're reaching towards one foot. So now we're hitting the obliques, trying to do flexion and side bending at the same time. So that's going to be quite spicy, especially if you straighten your knees and you do the little sweep. So legs go down, up and sideways, down and sideways. Breathe. Every time you go up, you exhale. Inhale in the middle. And then I suggest a little break. Relax your back, go through a nice twist and hold. Try the other side. A few deep breaths. Pause the video if you need to. And then I'm turning around. Okay, through a roll down, we're moving to a prone position. So we will be in the plank going through a few more drills. So this is like a variation of mountain climbers. I'm just working with one leg flexed, and that knee goes from the right elbow to the left elbow and then down to the right wrist, up to the right elbow, and I'm sort of doing a side, down kind of movement. So again, to the elbow, to the wrist, to the elbow, and to the wrist. So there's rotation, there is simple bracing, right? There is up and down movement of the pelvis. All this will challenge your abdominal wall as well as challenging your shoulders. A little break in a pike. You can obviously drop your knees and take a little break in a child's pose. And then heading into hip extension. So it's a plank with hip extension. So here you're hitting a bit of glutes and hamstrings, and there is again a lot of load through the shoulders. You can do this on your forearms if your wrists are not feeling right. And then of course obliques are firing immensely in this drill. Locking the lower back as we're moving the legs. And again, relax for a moment. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the knees. So we're heading to the last drill, and that's going to be, I call it like a break dance. So we're going from all fours with knees hovering. You add rotation. Notice how I pivot on the ball of my foot. I end up twisting and I drop the supporting heel, the heel of the supporting foot on the ground. So again, fantastic work through the obliques. There is some work through the glutes, and there is obviously a lot of evolutions through the shoulders. Okay, that's it.
That's it for abdominal flow for today, guys. If you've enjoyed that and you want to do more, click on this video here about obliques. You can learn more about anatomy of our abdominal wall and also other drills you can do to support and strengthen that abdomen.